I'll just go ahead and say I really like this game. If you clicked on the video just to hear whether or not I agree with you, there you go. Now into the real video. Pokémon, the most successful series in all of video games, and that success is built on top of a formula. A formula in which they have repeated over and over and over and over again. Each generation has a gimmick, but those gimmicks never last, are controversial among fans, and doesn't cause any real change to the Pokémon formula. This lack of any real change has caused fans to heavily criticize the Pokémon franchise and some to become bored with Pokémon because it's always the same and people believe that will never change. Enter Pokémon Legends Arceus, a complete shakeup of the Pokémon formula and the franchise as a whole. The game allowed one to snipe Pokémon with balls, craft their own supplies, and reimagine what it meant to be a Pokémon researcher and how to fill the Pokédex. But was this change good, and if so, in what ways? I'll split the rest of this video up into 4 parts. What I liked about this game, what I disliked about it, my overall feelings or rating of the game, and what I think the future of the Pokémon franchise can be. There's a lot to like about this game, but where it shines the most is gameplay. This game is fun to play. Sneaking around in grass, sniping Pokémon, traveling around the map, riding Pokémon with a fluid transition between the different Pokémon for different terrains. Traveling around the map, sneaking up and catching Pokémon is genuinely fun and rewarding. This game changed up how you catch Pokémon and it paid off. This game also reimagined what it meant to research Pokémon and fill out the Pokédex. Instead of catching a Pokémon once and its entry is filled, you have to do multiple research tasks for one Pokémon to fill it out, like catching it, defeating it, feeding it. The ability to catch so many Pokémon in mass and 1v4 Pokémon battles allow for the new Pokédex to actually work in-game. The crafting system introduced isn't that big or intense, but it works very well within the context of the game. It's really easy to just make Pokeballs, which is fine, and the materials in the game are abundant and easy to find, so crafting in the game is a nice compliment and never really a hassle. The side characters in this game have their own personalities and help make the game feel alive, and while the story itself isn't anything special, the characters do help make you care about it. I'll get into the actual art design and execution, but the interface of the game is nice. I absolutely love the mini screens. They fit the game so well. And the battles in the game are fun and engaging. Being able to walk around the fight while it's happening is so cool. Being able to see all the different angles of the fight. The new move styles are a decent addition. Agile style doesn't always feel like it was doing something, even when it seemed like it should, but overall the different move styles and being able to affect the turn order sequence is really fun and adds a nice level of strategy to the battles. I'll get why into a little bit, but the game seems like a skeleton of a game, but such a strong skeleton that Pokemon should continue to add on and build upon. This was genuinely the most fun I've ever had playing a Pokemon game. So if they can take this format and just tweak some things and add to the foundation, Pokemon could be better than it was before. I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. This game looks ass. I don't really need to hammer on this point too much. It's been discussed ever since the game was first shown. The render distance for this game is terrible. It makes finding the Will-O-Wisp mission unbearable and overly tedious. And I don't want to hear the excuse of it being on the Switch. Breath of the Wild was a release game for the Switch and also had to be able to run on the Wii U, and it still looks incredibly better than this game. Another problem I have is that it isn't truly open world. Now maybe this is on me for expecting it to be open world, but the different areas of the game being sectioned off and isolated from each other, it just made the game feel smaller. But it's not a massive problem, but I think it would have helped. Another problem I heard a lot of, and do agree with, is that there isn't actually much to do in the actual game. The game is essentially just catching Pokemon. With the gameplay being as good as it is, it does help, but it's just catching Pokemon. There are only like 10 training battles the whole game, one of which I'll get into, but barely any training battles, and all the requests being, give me this Pokemon, or show me a Pokedex entry for this Pokemon. It does get repetitive and boring. Also, with how much catching you do, when you get a request to give them a Pokemon, you probably already have it, so the request isn't challenging in any way. Another small complaint, if I throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon and all it does is bounce off of him one more time, I'm going to smash the game. I'm not talking about an aggro Pokemon, I mean it's unaware I'm there, I should be able to catch it, I make a difficult throw that somehow connects with the Pokemon, and it doesn't do shit. Final, major problem is how easy it is to get the legendaries. And I guess spoiler warning for the legendaries and how you get them, but I just walk up to the Lake Guardians, they ask a question or two, and then boom, I catch them. Or I just walk into a cave, have a 2-second battle, and now I have Giratina. Pokemon Devil with just like 3 ball throws. I found Darkrai, I threw 1 ball and I caught him. That should not be possible. And I know they're capable of making getting a legendary Pokemon satisfying because how you get Regigigas in this game was. It was still an easy puzzle, but at least there was something there. Getting the legendaries posed no challenge at all. So to quickly summarize, what most people have a problem with this game is that it is visually unappealing, borderline hard to look at game that has very little to actually do, or at least nothing challenging to do. Now, I just quickly want to complain about something that is probably just something that was hard for me, given my team construction, but this does happen near the end of the game, or I guess technically end of post-game. That Volo fight was fucking terrible. That game had absolutely no challenge in it whatsoever, and then all of a sudden, bam, an impossible battle for me. This game did not reward having one team and leveling up together, so I didn't. I kept Typhlosion, and he was the only Pokemon that seemed to be the right level for the fight, but more than half of his team seemed to be super effective against him. Then after fighting him, the devil comes out of nowhere, and I have to fight him. Which getting there was absolutely such a struggle. Then once I finally beat Giratina, I'm thinking, thank God, I finally did it. Then, this bitch changed form, and I had to beat it again. This battle was an 8v6, and this happened out of nowhere. I spent way longer than I would like to admit on this battle, but man, fuck Volo in that fight. Now that I feel that every flaw and good aspect about this game has been discussed, now it's time to give my overall rating and opinion of the game. Overall, I'd probably give this game a 7 out of 10. It's a good game, and it does the thing that is most important for games, and that is to be fun. Through all the terrible art, repetitive requests, and simple meta, the game is just fun to play. Part of this may come from the Pokemon franchise being extremely dull and repetitive over the years, and this game is really an amazing change of pace for the series. But regardless, it by itself is a good game. You could choose to let its faults hold it back, but I won't. This was a great experience, and I'm optimistic and looking forward to what that could mean for the future of Pokemon. Now, this video has been in the works for a while. I kind of procrastinated on it, but this next part was written before Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was announced. And due to how quickly it's coming out after Pokemon Legends Arceus, I don't think Arceus had much of an effect on it. So going forward, after seeing the results of Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think that's when you can look at what I'm about to say about what the future of Pokemon could be as a result of Pokemon Legends Arceus and its success. So what's said next is before knowing that there was Gen 9 coming out, but I think this could still be seen as, now that they see the success of Arceus, what they could do afterwards going forward. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if this format replaces the mainline Pokemon games. What I think Pokemon should do is a 4-game cycle going forward, where there's a Legends game. Ideally, I would like them to cycle through different historical time periods. I wouldn't mind watching a Pidgey get exploded by a musket. Then whichever remake they want to do next, which could be like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, or they could revisit the Let's Go concept. Or even within this cycle, they could cycle between those two styles. Then would be a more standard mainline Pokemon game. Hopefully they still change that concept and take more chances with that formula to keep it from being stale. And this is just my opinion, but I wouldn't mind if they just did a 2D, 2.5D style for the mainline games with this new game cycle. I think 2D Pokemon games up until Legends Arceus have been the best ones in the series, so I wouldn't mind if for the mainline ones they really went with that style. Lastly would be a wild card game. This could be the Pokemon Snap, Coliseum, Stadium, or some other new idea spot. I don't know if they have enough development teams to make that 4-game cycle a 4-year cycle, where we get one of those games a year. I don't know how many development teams they have, or what they'd be willing to source out, like they did with the Gen 4 remakes. I might look into it more and make a video on the future of Pokemon games if this video gets any attention. So to summarize the video, Legends Arceus is a game with plenty of flaws, but it's truly fun gameplay and change of pace to the Pokemon franchise elevated above those flaws into a genuinely good and enjoyable game. And with this game's success, I think Pokemon should look into a 4-game cycle of a Legends title, a mainline game, a remake, and a wildcard game. And I think the future of Pokemon looks better than it has in years.